2022 predictions time. I am Luco in DAD, joined by Chopper Pequenell.
We didn't run that through beforehand as to who was going to say the names.
And it's because, ladies and gentlemen, this is a pre-recorded SummerSlam predictions video, because predictions videos are going to be pre-recorded from now on. So we'll have no ultra chats, we'll have no live interaction, which may sound like a bad thing, but also it should be a good thing. It was, I mean, the reason why I had to pause there is because we forgot how to do pre-recorded videos. We're so used to doing them live. I was like, how does this work now?
Should we do some predictions?
Let's do predictions.
Oh, goodness me.
This coming Saturday, we are going to be doing live reactions here in the WrestleTalk studio. It'll be myself and Sullivan Bo Brown doing the reactions to SummerSlam 2022, which is a card that is... It's an interesting card. You and I were just recording the pilot episode for the new Friday show that we're going to be doing, me, you, and Tempest. Sans Tempest, because he's not here at the moment, which is going to be going up on patreon.com/WrestTalk for people to check out. So I was talking for an hour plus actually, about like all of our theories around Triple H and what could happen with him taking over. Oh, it was a lot of fun. Oh, yeah. It was really, really good. So please go and check that out if you are one of our Patreon backers. But we were talking about the SummerSlam card, which apparently like Triple H might want to do like a big creative splash on. So maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. But it's a card that he kind of will struggle to do, because predominantly it is either WrestleMania rematches or Money in the Bank rematches. Like Roman Brock is a WrestleMania match. Pat McAfee versus mid-card heel is a WrestleMania match. Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch is a WrestleMania match. Logan Paul and The Miz in a celebrity match is a WrestleMania rematch. Lashley Theory is a Money in the Bank rematch. The Usos and Profits is a Money in the Bank rematch. Like there's even the Mysterions versus Judgment Day we just saw on Raw, and the Mysterions won. So there's like, it's a card that is good. But it's also not a card that's like, it screams excitement. And I think that's mostly because it's like, this is like the last remnants of the Vince era. Yeah.
That's what I'd anticipate from this card, is that this is still going to be mostly Vince's vision, but with potentially, if Triple H is looking to make some sort of creative splash on this show, then I think we could see some sort of, it might not be through matches or match results, but maybe with angles that take place on the show to help us indicate like where we're going to be heading.
Yeah, I think so too. So let's kick things off talking about the Universal, the Undisputed, what is it called? The Unified...
WWE... Undisputed WWE Universal Championship. There it is.
I mean, I've got it written here on Wikipedia as the Undisputed WWE Universal Championship.
Yes. That's what I said, right?
I thought you said the WWE Undisputed...
No, it's the UWU Championship. The Undisputed WWE Universal Championship. That's how you remember it.
So, let me bring that graphic again. It's Roman versus Brock for the UWU Championship.
Yeah, in a last man standing match.
In a last man standing match. It is Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. A WrestleMania rematch, because as Roman told us in that promo, there's no one else for him to beat.
Yeah.
So he's facing the guy that he beat just a few months ago.
Doesn't make any sense.
It's the last time, you guys. It's the last time this is happening. Hey, with Vince gone, I fully believe this is now the last time this is ever going to happen.
Unless it's not. You never know.
You never know. Here's my wild prediction for the match. It'll be 7 minutes long. I think Roman will hit some spears. I think Brock will hit some F5s. I think Brock will throw some suplexes. I think Roman will do some Superman punches. I think they may go through a barricade. And I think Roman is going to win.
That is a crazy prediction. And what a coincidence, because I've got exactly the same prediction. Yeah, this is going to be, I think, much like all of the other matches. It might be, I think it's going to be longer than 7 minutes. I think it might go to like
12.
15, I reckon, as a push.
Brock Lesnar.
For any reason I say that, last man standing match. There's a lot of resting in this match.
Perhaps, but also, like, I think Tempest might have said this on a previous episode, but, like, they'll just treat the 9 count like they do near falls.
Yeah, so they do, yeah.
But they'll just do them right from the get-go. So, so Brock will just hit an F5 right out of the gate, and Roman will get up at 9.
Yes.
So we're already in the final third of the match. So, like, we don't need to go 15 minutes then. We may as well just go 7.
But we will, because they'll do 27 near falls, and all of them will go to a 9 count, and it will take forever.
It might be well boring, actually.
Yeah, it genuinely... This is Adam's gripe with last man standing matches that he famously always talks about, is that it's boring because you've got to wait for the referee to go 1, 2 every single time, all the way up to 9 for them to get up and go, all right, let's carry on the match then. It just has these pauses that just sap the momentum out of the match.
Yeah, I'm not expecting this to be any good, and that's only because I don't think any of their matches since the first one have been that good.
Yeah.
I think arguably the Saudi Arabia, the Crown Jewel match,
was
okay, but I think
seen it.
But I think that was more just down to because you had the intrigue of what Heyman was going to do, and him sliding the title in between the two of them.
Yeah,
was like a whose side is he on?
Yeah.
So it wasn't actually the in-ring wrestling that was good. It was just more the drama around the story. This one doesn't have any of that going for it.
Yeah,
because this has literally no story. So I think this is really going to struggle to get me into it.
Yeah, despite Paul Heyman's best efforts on the mic, this has no story and won't. Roman's going to win.
So
do you think Theory's cashing in?
That was going to be my next question. Was like, do we think Theory's cashing in? My big prediction way back when he first announced he was going to cash in at SummerSlam is he's going to be beaten up so badly by Bobby Lashley in their match that he is taken to a local medical facility.
Sure.
And that kind of eliminates the, will he cash in or not? If he does, I think it's going to be a failed cash-in.
I can see that.
I don't think Theory is ending this night as the undisputed WWE Universal Champion.
The Uwu Champion.
I just don't think he is. Maybe I'll be proven wrong, but I don't think this is the right time to be pulling the trigger on Austin Theory.
No, I don't either. I don't want to see Roman Reigns' 699 title reign end with a Money in the Bank cash-in. I feel like that undermines the moment of dethroning Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I agree. And for me, I just keep the belt on Roman until Rock.
Sure.
I think that's the big match.
Yeah.
Is Roman Rock.
Doesn't need the title though.
No, but this is also WWE.
Yeah, and it will have everything in it.
Exactly, it'll have all the bells and whistles attached to it.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of matches that I'm not massively excited about, it's Pat McAfee versus your next mid-card heel in Baron Corbin in a straight-up singles match. I suppose question number one, Pete, you're the SmackDown guy.
Sure.
How are you feeling about Pat versus Corbs?
Horbs?
Well, I was going to try to do Happy Corbin as one thing, but then I realised that's Horbs, and I don't like that much. So, how do you feel about Pat versus Corbs?
I think if they do the same entrance music that they did for Pat McAfee at WrestleMania, that'll be fun. Yeah, that's my thoughts on the match, I guess.
Do you want to hear my wild predictions? I think Baron Corbin is going to do some clubbing blows. I think he may do a spot where he goes against the ropes and then goes, "Ugh!" and he punches Pat, and then, wait for it, goes against the ropes and goes, "Ugh!" and does another clubbing blow. And then I think Pat will win.
Yes, I agree. I have nothing else to say
about
this match.
I've got nothing to add. Like it's just celebrity match for SummerSlam, and there's two of them.
Yeah.
And this is just it's the same thing as when he faced Theory at WrestleMania. Like only he's not in the ring with someone as athletic as Austin Theory, so it's going to be more. Oh, this might be a rest hold central match. Like as this goes 15 minutes, I think a good 8 of them will be Corbin rest holds / clubbing blows.
Here's another crazy prediction. I think Corbin might do a rest hold and then trash talk the crowd while he's holding it.
Also, I'm so glad that Madcap Moss won the feud and is getting so much out of it.
Hey man, he was protected against Theory and still hasn't lost yet, technically.
Up next for the United States Championship, which does bring into question the Money in the Bank, is Bobby Lashley versus Austin Theory. Pete, what are you thinking for this match?
I mean, I don't see a reason why Theory would win the title back. It doesn't really make any sense. I don't know why they've done this rematch, because I would have thought the point of him dropping the US title and then winning Money in the Bank is so he can be elevated into that next kind of echelon of talent.
Yeah.
Which they haven't done, because he won the briefcase and then just hasn't won anything for ages.
Yeah, I think Sean Ross Sapp over at Fightful Post, he's like 0-7 since winning Money in the Bank.
It's absurd.
Also, like, has he really been feuding with Lashley since? Because his whole deal is more about what they're doing with Roman and Brock.
Exactly.
So this match is like, I mean, I think Bobby's winning here.
Yeah, I don't see a reason why Theory would win. Lashley can and should do more with the title afterwards. I've got Lashley to win as well. Wow, we're going to agree on this card, aren't we?
Oh,
Jesus.
yeah. Up next for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships, it is the Usos versus the Street Profits. This graphic does not have a Jeff Jarrett, but I can promise you he is there as the special guest referee.
And I still don't know why.
Nashville.
That's the thing. People just say, because it's Nashville. And I'm like, that doesn't justify him being a special guest referee.
Absolutely doesn't. But I think like Meltzer was writing in The Observer that it's like, you know, hey, it may seem weird, but the Jarrett name still carries some sway in Nashville. So like, if you're not selling out SummerSlam, you put a Jarrett on a card or like, you know, something that's like local to them. They'll be like, oh, well, I'll go to that show to see the Jarrett.
Wild. That.
I don't know how much of that I truly believe.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe that either. Also, I thought the point of SummerSlam being like a big like stadium arena show and all that stuff is so you have a traveling crowd, so they're not from Nashville to come to the show. I thought that was the point.
Yeah, me too, but this is like, it's actively made me uninterested in the match.
Oh,
because
yeah.
like these two had an absolute banger at Money in the Bank, and I was quite happy for them just to run that back. However, here we are with Jarrett there as the special guest ref. Who you got to win?
Street Profits.
Really now?
Yeah. Don't know if I fully believe it, but I'm going with it.
Well, I was going to say, I'm saying the Usos, but...
Yeah, because they just win the big matches and don't win any other time. I think there's going to be a repeat of that spot where like Montez's shoulder will be up and Jeff Jarrett will catch it, where the other referee didn't. And it'll be like, no, his shoulder's up, and the Usos are going to think they've won, and they'll be like, yeah, we won, yeah, we're great. And Jeff Jarrett's like, no, he had his shoulder up. Or he might like miss it, but he's going to call for a replay, you know, get that instant replay. No, reversing my decision. His shoulder was up. Let's continue the match. Profits get the win.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly adds up. Could be possible. I think it's just because the tag belts don't really have much meaning or sway.
No.
You know what I mean? I was like, I don't know what putting them on the Profits achieves.
I don't know either. I just wanted to disagree with you on these predictions because otherwise it's a bit boring old show.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, I don't think we're going to be disagreeing on this one either. For the SmackDown Women's Championship, it is Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey. I think it would be unfair to call this a Money in the Bank rematch.
Yes, technically it is, but that's unfair.
I think it's unfair to call it such. But yeah, I mean, I think it's... I don't want to say it's cut and dry. I think Liv retains.
I think Liv retains as well. I think it would be a really bad decision if Ronda were to win the title back here. I think you have such an upswelling of support, support for Liv Morgan. I think squandering that is a fool's choice.
Speaking of natural selection, I think Flair may make her return here. Bayley could possibly make her return here as well. Like, there's 3 potential returns we could have on this show in Charlotte Flair, Bayley, and Edge. We'll get to Edge in a little bit, but I think like Bayley and Edge feel like the more higher likely to. I think, but there's all like I think Liv Morgan going to a feud with Charlotte Flair after this kind of works for her character. It works for her sort of like ascent towards the main, like being the main event of the SmackDown Women's Division. I don't
necessarily hate the idea of Charlotte Flair coming back, even costing Ronda Rousey the match because they have a lot of history, costing Ronda the match, but setting up a feud with Liv Morgan afterwards. Liv Morgan retains, but they're just like, right, now it's me and you. Now we've got Ronda out of the way. I don't hate that necessarily. I also don't hate Bayley coming back after Liv Morgan wins. Bayley comes back to have a stare down with Liv Morgan. I'm also okay with that too.
Yeah, I mean, because I kind of thought that if Bayley returns, she'd probably do something with Bianca Belair because that was the match that they had set up before Bayley got injured. It was supposed to be the Money in the Bank match until Bayley got her injury, right? But I wonder if actually, because of Alexa Bliss has now set herself up as number 1 contender, that you don't bring Bayley back for that feud instead. Yeah, you just have her on SmackDown and just insert herself into the title picture there.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that. Up next, it is Seth freaking Rollins versus Matt Riddle. I don't know which way I'm going with this one.
I think I do.
Okay, talk me through it. I
think they don't really care about Riddle when Randy Orton's not there.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think Seth Rollins is winning here because I think they probably, and especially because this is going to be Triple H's first show where he's properly in control of creative and all that. He really likes Seth Rollins. He likes Riddle as well. He was an NXT project, but I think he's going to give Seth Rollins a big win here to set him up for maybe someone with Roman afterwards. I don't know. Like,
I mean, yeah, so you're going with Rollins?
I'm going with Rollins.
I'm actually going with Riddle.
Yeah?
Because Rollins was the one that stood tall on Raw. And that's really the only justification I have for it. And I don't know if that's really that great justification.
Here's something that's going to blow your mind. Liv Morgan won on Raw, won on SmackDown, and then won Money in the Bank.
I know. Well, dude, when she won on Raw, I said to Sullivan on the Raw review, there's no way she's winning Money in the Bank now.
And then she won on SmackDown. I mean, Tempest both said, well, she's not winning Money in the Bank, is she? And then she won. So maybe they're going to blow our minds and have Seth stand tall, and then he's going to win.
It's actually the upside down.
Exactly.
And things are different around these parts. But yeah, no, I'm sticking with Riddle for this one. However, up next is a match I could not give two flying turds about. It's Logan Paul versus The Miz. Now, you and I have both been contacted independently, I believe, by people to say that we were too harsh on Logan Paul on our Raw Review podcast.
Sure.
Because I think I said he looks like an unlikable douchebag. I still think he looks like an unlikable douchebag, and I also think he's a terrible babyface. Yeah. I think he's a naturally unlikable person. And when I say that as well, I've no idea what he does. I've never seen a Logan Paul video. Yeah. I've never seen a Logan Paul tweet. I've never seen a Logan Paul Instagram post outside of the one where he announced that he was signing with WWE because WWE put it up on TV. Yeah. So I've never seen anything that he has ever done. I said on the Raw review he does TikToks, and everyone got mad at me. He's like, he's not even on TikTok. I don't know, and I honestly don't care. So I am basing everything on how he appears on TV. Yeah. And how he appears on TV, on WWE TV, is an unlikable douchebag. Yeah. So I think, so my reaction to him is, you're a bad babyface promo. And even when you're cutting one, you sound like a heel. You're a very natural heel. You're a very unlikable chap. I think you should just be a heel. Yeah. I also think he's winning. Yeah. Because he's the celebrity.
Absolutely. Of course he's winning. He won at WrestleMania. He's going to keep his win streak going. Yeah. Yeah. I think that I totally agree with you in that he is just such a natural heel. And that is a compliment. He is a good bad guy.
That's great. There's loads of people who are naturally good at being heels.
Yeah, exactly.
And there are some people who are bad at being baby faces.
Exactly. Yeah, and he's...
And they're both in this match.
Yeah.
The Miz is a very good heel. He's a terrible baby face.
Yeah, he's a terrible baby face. And Logan Paul is not any better. Yeah. Logan Paul's going to win. There's no doubt in my mind about this one. That's it. Logan Paul wins.
Yeah.
Because he's going to carry on doing matches every few months.
He'll probably have a match at the next Saudi show.
Yeah, see that.
Like a Crown Jewel or something. Like that'll probably be his next one, and then he'll be in the Rumble, and then that'll probably set up his match for WrestleMania. And I think that match may even be Logan Paul versus Pat McAfee.
Sure.
Like Pat McAfee will probably have a match at Crown Jewel. Like both win. Maybe they both eliminate each other from the Rumble, and that sets up their match. Maybe. Cool. I mean, honestly, I don't care.
I don't care.
I really, really don't care. And I apologize if I've upset Logan Paul fans, because there are some out there, but it's not working for me, brother.
No.
What's working? Is it working slightly more? I guess so.
I don't know.
Well, it is because there's a bit more intrigue to it. It is the Judgment Day versus the Mysterions. This isn't a no DQ match.
Yes.
Which kind of like removes the Eddie finish, which they've now done sort of like in the I think they did it in the Ray Finn match, or maybe the Ray Priest match, and then they tried to do it on Raw again this week, but it sort of backfired on the Judgment Day. So that kind of eliminates this. I suppose the bigger question here is like, is this where Edge returns?
Yes.
I also agree. Yes, I think this is where he returns. I think had it not been for plane issues, he would have been on. He would have been on Raw. Like, if Edge didn't have his plane issues, this wouldn't be on the SummerSlam card.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think they would have just done the Edge return on Raw at Madison Square Garden, and then continue the storyline on Raw the following week.
Yeah.
But because of the plane issues that he had, and they'd advertised that they had to do the match at Madison Square Garden, and it was the 20th anniversary, they still did the match, and then just announced a rematch for the sake of it, so they can do the Edge return here.
Yeah, and I think that because it's a no DQ match, Rhea Ripley, now that she's returned, will be getting involved in the match, and it's like, even odds for the heels and stuff like that. Edge will come back and can even the odds for the babyfaces, I think, and can kind of scare away Rhea Ripley and will cost Judgment Day the match.
Again.
Again.
They can just lose again.
Win. So Judgment Day, lose again.
Unless, of course, as I did say on our pilot episode over on patreon.com/WrestleTalk, that Edge just realigns himself with the Judgment Day. And with the whole, like, I'm so proud of you guys because you kicked me out of the group. You saw the weakness. You were wrong, but you saw weaknesses, and I'm proud of what you achieved. And I'm now back to be the leader again.
I think I'd hate that.
I mean, yeah, it makes no sense whatsoever, but I don't know. You know what? I said that I cared at the start of this, and it turns out I don't. And honestly, Pete, it just turns out I don't.
Yeah.
But I
don't think I do either.
But I'm looking forward to seeing. Am I looking forward to the Edge? I suppose I am looking forward.
Yeah. I'm just see what he does.
I'm just gutted he didn't get to do this. Like, this was his big thing. It only started at WrestleMania, and at SummerSlam, like, it ended before we even got to SummerSlam. It was like 8 weeks this group was together. He cut his hair for this.
They were so cool at the start as well.
Yeah, it was like a really good idea that I just think has been sort of creatively squandered. And I think that's the only reason why, like, you know, maybe now with Triple H in charge of creative, that you just do, you know, just put Edge back in there and we'll just do him as a regular group as opposed to a spooky Yuki group.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Up next, and it's our final match on the card for the Raw Women's Championship, it is Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch. Before we move on, let's give a bit of a round of applause. This doesn't work for podcast listeners, but for that Becky Lynch graphic.
Very good.
Stunning work.
It's very good.
Superb.
Yeah.
Now, who have you got to win here?
This is the hardest match to predict on the card.
I think so too.
Because I can see either of them winning. For different reasons. I'd really like them to see them continue Bianca Belair's title reign. Because I think there is more left in the tank for her reign. It only started at Mania. I think she could have a lengthier reign if they wanted her to do that. I could totally see Becky winning it back in order to set up a feud with Alexa Bliss. Because I think that would work better in the face-heel dynamic, because Alexa Bliss working as the face. I'm not overly opposed to an Alexa Bliss-Bianca Belair feud. Especially because I think Bianca could, like, just throw Alexa Bliss everywhere in the ring, and that would be very entertaining to watch. I don't know.
Do you want to hear my big prediction for this match? Belair wins in 26 seconds.
You think?
Because it was Becky won in 27, right?
Yeah. Or something like that.
Something like that. Like, I think Belair wins in, like, a second less or something like that.
Okay.
And they just do, you know, she goes for the manhandle slam, reverse that, KOD, gets the 1, 2, 3. And because this, you know, this started at SummerSlam last year when Becky made her return and won in 27 seconds or whatever it was. Just do the, you know, that's how you end this as well. You end this as you started it, but it's Belair that stands tall. She retains the Raw Women's Championship. She moves on to a feud with Alexa Bliss over the belt, which feels like a fresh new matchup.
Yeah.
Because my worry is if Becky wins, you just continue her working with Bianca Belair. And, like, I think this feud has run its course.
Yeah.
I think this feud ran its course when it hit WrestleMania. So I'm ready for us to move on from this. And I think the way you move on from this is Belair stands tall, beating Becky either in the same amount of time or in a quicker amount of time than Becky won at SummerSlam last year.
I feel like if they are going to do that, they need to have some sort of way to protect Becky coming out of it. Because I think there needs to be some sort of distraction, or there needs to be a thing that happens that means Becky just isn't squashed for no reason, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think that would actually be quite damaging to her, that she just loses that quick. And you could play into it that it continues her downward spiral when she goes crazy. Maybe she takes some time off and has to come back later. You could make that work.
Could do the Bayley return here to set up like Becky versus Bayley as your next program.
You could do that. I don't know. I feel like there just needs to be a thing.
Because I don't know what you do with Becky after this. Because she's feuded with Asuka.
Yeah.
And I was, you know, it was good. I mean, they ran it into the ground because they just had like 20 matches or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But I don't really think there's anyone else in the Raw roster for her to go into a big program with. So I think you need to give her something so that once SummerSlam is finished, she has got another program to go into.
Yeah.
So maybe a Bayley here would be good. Like, she gets distracted by Bayley's music or whatever it is, KOD, and she loses.
Yeah.
So that sets up Belair versus Bliss and Becky versus, and it kind of protects Bayley in the loss. Protects Becky in the loss some way.
Yeah.
It's not great, but
it's not great. But I think it would be a nicer moment if you just go, oh, that's what happened before. Hey, Bianca got her revenge for that loss at SummerSlam last year. I think that's, I don't hate it, but also they could just go 15 minutes and Bianca could win.
Or just do that. I mean, they had, the third best match at WrestleMania this year, so every chance that they do that.
Yeah.
But that's going to wrap it up for this. Thank you all so much for checking out the prediction videos. What do you think is going to happen? Let us know in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because we are on our way to 70k. Thank you all so much for your support. We will see you next time here on the WrestleTalk Podcast channel. Take care, everyone. Jam that jam!